I would like to extend a warm welcome to all members of the HR committee, officers, members of the public and press in attendance at today's meeting of the 13th of March 2025. Welcome to those who may be watching the meeting live on YouTube. I am Councillor Jill Cleary, Chairman of the HR committee. I would now like to hand over to Democratic Services to read the housekeeping note.
Thank you. Please note that this meeting is being broadcast live on the Council's website and on YouTube. It will remain available for a minimum of 12 months. I would remind those in attendance to use your microphone when speaking and remember to switch it off once you have finished speaking. Please switch any mobile devices or laptops to a silent setting for the duration of the meeting. If the fire alarm rings, please can everyone leave the room immediately and use the nearest fire exit, but do not use the lift. Please go to the fire assembly point, which is located at the bottom of the car park by the garages. Thank you.
For the benefit of those watching the meeting online, please would members introduce themselves during the meeting, if not already introduced by name. Apologies. I have two apologies, Kate Crissell and Alan O'Sullivan. Item 1, minutes. To approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 9th of January 2025. Do the committee approve?
Agreed.
Thank you. Declarations of interest. Do any members have any interests to declare? None?
No.
Public participation? None. Right, straight into item 4, HR update, which is Helena, who is the Service Manager, Human Resources. Thank you, Helena.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. This is our regular report that I like to bring you each time that we meet, just to let you know what we've been up to in the HR service, apart from the other things that you'll be hearing today. So if I start with the introduction, I'm pleased to say that we have agreed and signed the SLA for the National Park for the forthcoming year. So our services to them will continue. It's always a nice thing to have done. In terms of our staff engagement survey, we're working through the things that have come out of that survey now, and I really hope that our next meeting we'll be able to spend some time looking at the action plan and things that we've put in place already to address some of the concerns that the staff have raised, which would be very positive. In terms of the recruitment update, really pleased to see that as a result of our national, well, we think it's as a result of the national recruitment campaign, that our visitors to our job page have risen significantly from 4,500 to roughly 9,000. So a huge difference in the numbers. We've got a new Teams background. So if any of you call any member of the HR team on Teams, I'd like to think that you'll see our new background when you're speaking to them. Our recruitment process review has started. And I'm really pleased to let you know about this because it's something that we've been meaning to get to for some time. And actually now, with the help of our colleagues in the transformation team as well, we've actually been able to start looking at how we might be able to refine some of our processes moving forward, because some of the jobs that we do are quite manual and quite repetitive. So we're really hoping to embrace something along the lines of Power Automate as well. And I think it will really make a difference, not only for the people in the HR team, but also for all of our managers when they're looking to recruit as well. So it's another really positive thing. The learning management system, I think we spoke quite a lot about that last time we met. We're continuing to roll that out. And actually in the near future, what we'll also be doing is publicising the fact that we have got some other modules now that are available for staff to view. They're not mandatory learning. These are courses that people can choose to look at if they have an interest in them. So we're going to start to publicise those and people will be able to go in then and look at those if they so wish. The LGBT plus employee network continues to meet, and this is one of the forums that we're using as a really good sounding board when we're looking to introduce or change existing policies as well. So we're engaging with that group, which is really nice, and they're making some really good suggestions as we go along. In terms of the amendment to the Equality Act, the HR advisory team, we've developed a new policy. So the new revised bullying and harassment policy has a specific section in it about sexual harassment now. And we've also revised our brief bite, and we've run one of those already. We've got another one scheduled for April and another one scheduled for May for managers to book on if they so wish, and the sexual harassment element is picked up within that now as well. The EDI group, again, another good sounding board. They meet regularly, and it's great to get their feedback into some of our policies when we're drafting them, because they tend to look at it from a different angle. It's really helpful to be able to pick up what they say. Buying and selling of annual leave. So this is our new policy that we have started from this year. And even though it's not closed yet, because people had to the end of March to get their applications in, but I can tell you so far we've had and approved 22 applications to buy and 6 applications to sell. And we've got 8 that are still waiting for approval. So a total of 36. Yeah, I'm quite surprised. I didn't think we'd have quite that amount of uptake. And as I say, it's not closed yet, so we may get a few more. And we've we've organised some employee events during the year as well, particularly the over 20 years service one. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Helena. Does anyone have any questions for Helena?
Please.
Councillor Steve Davis.
Yes, thank you. I was delighted to see the learning management system update. That was great news, of course. Would any of the optional modules be available to members?
I believe so. Zoe? Yeah. Yes, they will. So what we're hoping to do is to publicise them. It'll either be through the staff comms or our own email, and we'll explain to people how you can go in, look at the course, and see what's there, see if it is something that you're interested in.
Thank you. I think members need self-improvement as well sometimes, so that's fine.
I couldn't possibly comment.
Any other questions? No, then can I take you to the recommendations on page 3, which state that members note the ongoing work within the HR service. Agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Right, agenda item 5 is people strategy. We have 2 officers, Kate Hardy, who is the organisational development and change specialist, and Zoe Ormerod, senior HR advisor. Take it away, guys.
Thank you. I'm going to speak on behalf of myself and Kate this morning, but Kate will chip in if we get any questions. We've continued to work together on moving our people strategy through to the final document. We've been bringing updates in previous meetings. We've now condensed the plan into a 2-year plan, keeping the themes and basing it all on the research that we've done before, but just condensing it down into what we can achieve, still ambitiously, but in a 2-year plan. The people strategy, the main part of the people strategy is a detailed report that you'll all have received as part of the pack. And it focuses on ensuring that our staff are in the best possible place as we move forward. In addition to that, we've created an abridged visual version, which I like to refer to as our snazzy document, and you'll see that on the screen. But it's trying to bring to life for our employees, for our public, and for those applying for jobs, bring the document to life a little bit for them. So I thought it would be useful to flick through the document quickly. I know that you'll have had it in the pack. We've tried to make it linked to as many of our employees as possible, and you'll see that on the front cover and throughout the document. And we've said that our people strategy is our journey to employer of choice. We've now had the design finalised, and we can't take great credit for this, but we had some design help with it, but we're really pleased with how it has resonated across the authority so far, with our strong roots growing up through our branches and into the themes of connect, grow and empower, and our LEAF values flowing throughout. The document talks about why a people strategy, how it sits within our other documents such as our corporate plan and our transformation plans. It talks people through how we've gone through our stages of discovery, design and deliver. We focus a little on what we're already doing well as a council, and then we move on to the challenges that we need to address. And then we define what an employer of choice really means to us. Why are we actually going about these things, and how does this link to our values? That's just a little more detail back about the tree design. And then we talk about the 4 themes and what each of them means. So we talk about strong roots in detail, and that's things like our policies and procedures, making sure that our wellbeing offer is good so that we have the great foundations. We have some spotlight stories from among our workforce. Then on to grow, and how we believe that everybody should have opportunities to grow and develop, and how we plan to go about that. And again, some spotlights on 2 of our apprentices there. We move on to the theme of connect, and how it's really important that we connect not just within our teams but across the organisation as well as outside of the organisation. And there's a picture of our Karen and some colleagues out on a wellbeing walk there. Another spotlight on connect, and Helena mentioned it, was our over 20-year service award this year, which was an excellent opportunity for many of us to get together. And there's both Helena and I in that picture, as well as Jill, I can see in there. Yeah. Moving on to the theme of empower, and making sure that our people are supported to make decisions, test out new ideas and find their own solutions within the remit of their role. And we have Sophie there from Housing, who went to an event last year that has really helped her develop and now become a service manager. We've got some other stories on empower from across our workforce, I think all of which are really great to read. And then we talk about, okay, so that's where we've got to, but how are we going to deliver this strategy? So we talk through that, and we talk about our delivery plan, which is there at the end of the document in each of those 4 themes, and breaks down the things that we will work on over the next couple of years. So that's where we've got to so far. We're here at HR committee today, and we'll be working through some other committees to get to full council in the middle of April for final approval. After that, we're already working on ideas of how we can bring the people strategy to life and get all employees feeling engaged and empowered by it. And we're looking at ideas at the moment. We know we've got Learning at Work Week in May, and the theme, Kate?
Get connected.
Well done, put you on the spot there. Get connected, but it couldn't be better. So we're hoping to really use that week to bring us to life. Another thing that we're going to hope to use to bring it to life is the tree. So somebody quite special has made us a tree design. They're going to be spraying it next week in the colours, and then it comes apart, and we'll be taking it to different venues so that we can, it's sort of a symbol of what we're there to talk about, and hopefully get the word out there.
Just to clarify, that somebody special is Mark, who, whenever tasked with anything in the wood department, always comes up first class. So huge thank you, Mark.
That's all I was going to say. I don't know, Kate, if there's anything.
Okay, anybody got any questions for Zoe? Mark?
Hello, Councillor Mark Clark from Hythe South. Just very basic question, the super document, and there's some wonderful pieces in there. I just wonder whether you sort of, with the LGR and the Horizon, whether you benchmarked this against sort of other local authorities and whether you're on a similar path.
Yeah. Okay. So, we were on a 5-year plan, and we've reduced that to 2 in line with LGR, so that we working towards that and making sure all our staff are in the best possible position. As we move forward, and we are in a position to know who we might be working with, it's definitely on our agenda to work with those parties to make sure that we're aligned moving forwards.
Yeah, just so that you're not ending up down one long path and somebody else are over there. And how has that affected your timelines on the document anyway? Is that has that given you more impetus or, yeah?
Yeah, in terms of, it has enabled us to kind of accelerate things actually a little bit quicker. So the things that we were planning to do over 5 years, some of them, not all of them, because we can't do everything, we've managed to squeeze into 2 years, and we've got some additional resource to support that, to do a really good job of it. And I think in response to your question about what are other people doing, I think probably we're ahead of the game, because it just so happens that we've been doing this at the same time that all of the LGR stuff has come out. So it's given us a huge opportunity, and we also firmly believe these are the right things to do. You know, whether or not LGR is there or not, this is what we need to be doing for our people.
Do you think it's a transferable strategy, relatively straightforwardly, to whatever turns up next?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, thank you.
I would say definitely. We're in the lead here. We'll quite happily show other councils what to do. Any other questions? No? Then can I take you to the recommendations on page 9, which say to approve the people strategy and support submission to the Cabinet for full approval. Agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Right, item 6, quarterly health and safety report, and we have James Loring, who is the Corporate Health and Safety Manager. James.
Hello everyone. So I'm just going to go through some highlights of the report and then a bit more detail on some of the accidents that are included within it. So the first point to mention is the health and safety audits the team have undertaken. So we did one within the electrical team in Q3 and they scored 82.64%, which is a really, really good score for the council and for the team, and a massive improvement from where they were about 5 years ago. So we've identified a number of different actions, and the team are continuing to work with supervisors and the management team on those as well. On our safety panels and working groups, I've included a couple of tables within the report which identifies the percentages of risk assessments that are currently being reviewed. So this is in the operations and housing departments. So we've identified, although the team's made good progress on a number of documents, because there are around 100 in each department, plus there's a lot of work to do. They've made good progress. However, some teams were struggling with their capacity. So I've now met with the directors in each of those departments and service managers and come up with a strategic plan for the next financial year to make sure appropriate support is provided to those teams going forward. So all those documents will be done, which is good progress for both services. For the accident incident report, Q3, just some data headlines. So we had a total of 65 reports made in Q3, which is a decrease from the previous quarter. There is an increase in the number of injuries reported and a reduction in the number of near misses reported. The reduction in near misses reported is due to reduction from street scene, and this is in relation to damage to public toilets, so we've seen less of those. We had a total of 5 RIDDOR reports in Q3, 2 of which were contractor related. So this is a significant increase from the previous quarter. We had a total of 185 days lost at the time of the report. 123 of those were in housing and communities, and 65 in place operations and sustainabilities. 91 of the 123 days in housing and communities were down to 1 employee. We have seen a downward trend of member of the public reports this financial year, quarter per quarter, although this isn't an increase compared to last year, but this is primarily due to the increased work the health and safety team have been having with our customer services to make sure all reports are coming through to our team and recorded correctly as well. And we had a total of 5 contractor incidents reported, 2 of which were RIDDOR reportable. So I'll just give a bit more detail on some of the significant incidents as well. So the first one is 3782 and 3783. This is around the unsafe gas appliances. So we had notification of an unsafe gas appliance at Beach Crescent. On further inspection, it was identified that the appliance was fitted outside of the manufacturer's instructions. We then did a further inspection on another property, which we understood was being worked on as well, and again identified that the boiler was then identified as immediately dangerous. Each were made safe and shut off, and each appliance was reported to the HSE under RIDDOR 2013. We've now done a full investigation of both those incidents and the work ongoing at both properties, and that identified 21 actions. In addition, the gas team have also done an additional audit of all gas works undertaken by that contractor, which has now concluded. We've identified a couple of issues on gas works, and have agreed actions going forward. So the contractor is not going to use any subcontractors going forward, and all gas works will come through our gas team for approval to ensure that they meet the relevant manufacturer's instructions for those appliances as well. And Ben Close, our gas manager, will attend their quarterly KPI meetings as well to have ongoing discussions. But ultimately, we've had good contact with the contractor going forward, and good progress has been made as well. The other one I was going to discuss in a bit more detail is 3779, which is the discovery of asbestos in 8 Manor Close. So this was following a review of an asbestos refurbishment management survey by the corporate asbestos team. They identified asbestos insulation board debris present in the loft space. The loft space was then locked and made secure, and a licensed contractor engaged to remove the material. The health and safety team did a full accident investigation into this incident, and a number of actions have been identified for both the asbestos team and the management of asbestos and the controller contractors as well. And I'm continuing to work with housing departments to ensure those actions are implemented as soon as possible. Is there any questions at all on any of the areas of the report?
Thank you, James. Is anyone up? Sean?
On page 68, it's got vehicle incidents and manoeuvre type. Well, apparently you've had 20 accidents caused by 21 different types of manoeuvre. There seems to be a discrepancy there. Was there 2 manoeuvres involved in 1 accident?
I'll have to have a look at that. That data is supplied to us by a transport manager, so it's not held by the health and safety team, but I can, yeah, this is incorrect. I can have a look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from anyone? No? Wonderful. Can I take you then to the recommendations on page 59? There are 2. To acknowledge the findings identified from service safety panels and working groups. And the second, to acknowledge the findings from the Q3 2024 to 2025 accident incident form. Agreed?
Agreed.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you, James. Very comprehensive report. Right, we are on to item 7, the work programme, and this is really just to note, but does anyone have any additions they would like, or any questions on what is already scheduled? Can't see any hands going up. No? Okay, so we will go with what we have got. Thank you very much. Right, I would now like to take the opportunity to thank you all for attending, and I declare the meeting is closing. Thank you.